Once you're able to touch your horse's foot, you're going to want to start thinking about building duration. So you want to be able to hold on to your horse's foot instead of just touching it. And there's a few ways to build up duration to this behavior. And the first way is just by delaying your click a little bit. So when your horse lifts their foot up and you touch it, instead of marking and reinforcing right away, you're just going to wait for a second or two and then click and reinforce. And you'll build this up gradually until you get to about maybe 5 seconds. And once you get to about 3 to 5 seconds that you can hold your horse's hoof up, then you want to start varying the amount of time that you hold their hoof up. So if you are always making the behavior more difficult, every time you make them hold their foot up for longer and longer, at some point your horse is going to give up. They're not going to want to keep participating because they know that every time it's going to get harder for them. So instead, what you'll do is you'll maybe hold their hoof up for 2 seconds, and then you might hold their hoof up for 5 seconds. And then you might go back down to maybe 3 seconds. And then 2 seconds again. And then you might make a jump up to about 7 seconds. Now I might go back down to 5 seconds. And so on. That way your horse never knows how long they're going to have to hold their foot up before you click, and you'll build persistence to the behavior. You'll build duration. So they'll keep holding their foot up until you mark and reinforce. Now another way that you can build duration to this behavior is by a countdown. So this is basically the same thing, except that you're actually counting out loud for your horse so that they know that you're getting close to when you're going to let their foot down. So if you start at 3 seconds, 3, 2, 1, you mark and reinforce. And again, the same applies. You don't want to keep making the behavior more difficult every time. 2, 1. Once you get about 3 to 5 seconds, then you're going to start jumping around. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that time I went up to 6. Now I'm going to make it really easy. I'm just going to lift and hold for 1 second, not even doing a countdown. Now I'm going to go to 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now I'm going to jump up to 7. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. So this is really helpful for horses that are struggle with having their foot held for any kind of duration. So if you're counting down and your horse is having a hard time keeping their foot held up, as you get close to that release number, and they know that you're getting close to that release number, it helps them to hold on for that last little bit so that they're not jerking their foot away because they know that you're about to finish. Boy. So a third way to build duration is by just doing stuff with the foot. So if you're manipulating your horse's foot or their leg, you're automatically going to build duration simply because those activities, excuse my really bad click, those activities just take some time. So if you're going to move your horse's foot around a little bit, you're automatically building some duration into the behavior. So you might want to tap on your horse's foot. And you can even start maybe brushing it with your hoof pick brush or picking the foot out. And all of that is going to build duration. I recommend mixing that up. So sometimes you're doing some manipulation of the foot, and other times you're just holding it up. Now, of course, you want to be aware that when you start picking out your horse's hoof, if they have any soreness in their foot and you hit a sore spot with your hoof pick before you have a really good solid history of reinforcement, it's going to set you back considerably. So make sure you're not digging in there with your hoof pick or anything until you've got a really solid behavior of lifting and holding the foot up and your horse is comfortable with you manipulating their foot and moving their leg around.